This week on Unscripted, a great Bible study from Daniel by my boss, Justin Kim, a woman who escapes an impossible country and finds the Lord, and then 250,000 people baptized all at once. How does that happen? Welcome back to another groundbreaking episode of Unscripted, the finest television available anywhere on YouTube or social media or the internet in general. I think we pretty much own the internet at this point. This has gone so well. You've been so great at watching the show. We now own the internet. You know, what was his name? Invented it? Bob Dole invented it? We now own it.
Okay.
I think so. That's not even close. Hey, I'm Shawn Boonstra.
I'm Justin Kim.
Yep, and you'll notice I finally have a crest on my jacket.
We finally promoted him to jacket-worthy status.
Jacket-worthy. It's like I'm the only guy without a jacket. But you'll notice Justin doesn't have
we can't have two people on. That's overblowing the brand. So we figure the good-looking one gets the jacket, and I'll just be humble with a vest or whatever.
Do you even know where your jacket is?
I have no idea.
Do you know for sure I'm not wearing yours?
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't wear that color blue.
You wouldn't wear that color blue?
You look good in blue, but
it's hideous. What do you mean I look good? You don't look good in blue. What are you wearing today, sir?
I'm wearing blue.
He's wearing blue. All right. It's probably time to get on to the content. We are now on to a new month, which means a brand new print edition of the Adventist Review.
Very excited. We have a new issue here. It's not Superstition magazine. It's our first, it's our cover article on Superstition, and it's about, well, I'm not going to share what it's about. You got to get your copy too.
I will say this, though. If you're not subscribing to this, why? Why? I've been begging you for weeks. AdventistReview.org. Scroll down to the bottom. Look for a way to subscribe to this. Honestly, this is the voice of the Seventh-day Adventist movement. It really is. It's the official, the way you say it?
The flagship publication of the Adventist Church, for the global Adventist Church, and it's a way to tap into what's happening all around the world.
Right. It's a global movement, 24-some million strong and growing. And this will let you know what's going on all over the planet. It'll deepen your faith. It will help you dig deeper into some of the things we believe as a movement, get new ideas for mission, and so on. And you know, the whole emphasis of the church right now is grounded in the Bible and focused on mission. This is an amazing way to do that. Get this into your home. Because the editorial this month, written by none other than Mr. Justin Kim, is called etcetera. Thank you for doing it right. It drives me nuts when people say etcetera. No, it's etcetera, which sounds like it's going to be boring, but you say you're talking about Daniel 3. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so hey, we're in the midst of this One Voice initiative all around the world. This is an opportunity for the whole global church to get together on the same page and get revived together and do evangelism together, and incorporating satellite, paper, smokescreen, internet, social media, whatever, just getting everyone involved and being one voice together as a church and coordinating and integrating together. And at least for 2026, it's to study the book of Daniel.
Yeah.
And we've been looking at Daniel 1 in January, Daniel 2 in February, and then Daniel 3 in the month of March. And
it's
so
kind of convenient, right? We got 12 chapters in Daniel.
There you go.
I was sensing a theme. I'm not the sharpest knife in the Adventist Review drawer, but I did sense a theme.
Yeah.
So Daniel 3.
Yeah, and we all know Daniel 3. Yeah, the boys go into the fire, and they are it's a classic Adventist story. But the thing that I point out is it just goes into just a lot of lists, right? So I have my Bible open here. You got a lot of leaders, a lot of musical instruments, a lot of people groups, a lot of cultic leaders, religious leaders. And we just celebrated, a couple weeks ago, Valentine's Day. Yeah. And if I just said,
it was Valentine. No, I did remember. But I bet you somebody out there right now
is just remembered.
No. That's why things aren't so good at home right now.
Well, if I wrote to my wife and I just said, hey, I love you, and then all the details, et cetera, that's not a very good love letter. There's a reason why you go into all these details, and I think the Bible does the same. And I kind of go into a little bit about why Daniel goes into all those lists.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked what you did here, Justin, and I don't always like what you do. Okay. I just don't always like. No, I actually do like what Justin does. But I heard somebody a while ago say, oh, no. The reason that they list everything and list it again is that Daniel's making fun of the rituals of battle. I think there might be some merit to that. But if you want to say that repetition and rite is mockery, then we got a problem with the whole temple cult in Jerusalem. Cult not meaning cult. I mean that in a theological sense.
The religious services.
Yeah, the religious services.
Yep.
But what you're saying is repetition really underlines God sharing detail, if I'm getting it right.
Yeah, so I pitched that it's a form of poetry in Old Testament writing, and it's like, hey, every instrument, and by the way, the instruments back then, these weren't just like guitars and keyboards, but these were instruments used for specifically religious purposes. So God is saying, like, all those religious instruments, all those religious people, all those political people, all those people groups, God is above them all. And he repeats these lists over and over. And it's saying like how comprehensive God is, about how powerful he is above all these things. And so at the end of this, these three boys are like, oh, you're above all of this? Well, you can do it 7 times harder. We're not really afraid of that. I mean, it's making a theological crescendo point in the story.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing. And you gave me an opportunity. I know you didn't write about this specifically, but all those instruments, have you ever seen people criticize the instrument saying, hey, there's a Greek instrument in there, so clearly Daniel was written in the Maccabean period, hundreds of years later, because he couldn't have known all this stuff in the future. And I heard somebody explain it a while ago saying, yeah, but that Greek instrument did exist already, and these people came from all over the empire.
Right.
It's like you don't have to have invented the instrument to use it. So,
and some of those criticisms, there's something behind the criticism they're trying to get at, right? So it's a priori. They think, I don't think this is true. They read the data, and then so therefore this is not true. But they already have a presupposition they start with, and it's like a So
why fight the idea? I mean, we're going to get a little bit theological here, but why fight the idea that Daniel predicted things, that the book of Daniel saw the future? What would be the reason people dig in and say no?
I think 2 things. One, it's too accurate.
Yeah.
How can the supernatural thing be so accurate according to what history went through? And 2, it's inconvenient. If it's true, what are the ramifications of that, of my personal spiritual journey? I mean, that's a world-changing motif.
It was the book of Daniel that convinced me that it was time to become an actual Christian. It is instrumental in my conversion. The first thing I thought is, wow, there is somebody driving this place. As confused as it looks, there's somebody driving it, there's a purpose and there's a destination. Good news. But then the next thought is, if this is all true, I'm accountable to somebody too.
Yeah.
And my life doesn't square up with what this is saying. And I think that's where the fear kicks in.
It's inconvenient.
Yeah, so we have to dismiss it. Written after the fact. And no, there's no reason. Jesus himself spoke of Daniel as a real person, and this dates back to Daniel and so on. Really appreciated this one, man.
Yeah, so we really encourage you all, if you study the book of Daniel and Revelation, specifically Daniel before Revelation, Sister White, she promises that you'll have a different, higher spiritual experience. And for those who have studied Daniel before, 1 billion times, studying it again is just a great reminder. And I don't know, for me, getting into Daniel, each time you just pick up different things.
Yeah.
Each time. And so even chapter 3, I'm thinking, oh, I know this story. Like, all right, the boys again, the fire. But I'm reading through these lists. I'm like, why does it go through these lists over and over and over?
Repetition's never by accident.
It's not. Especially for these Bible readers where there's so limited real estate. If they're going to say something over and over again, they're making an emphasis on something very important.
Did you just put the emphasis on the wrong syllable? Oh, I saw what you did there, Mr. Senior Editor. Yeah. Or did you actually think that was the word?
No.
Here's for me, the book of Daniel is this. I've been in this movement now for 30-some years, and you think you know Daniel? I'd encourage you, if you think you know it, oh, I've heard that all before. We had a seminar at our church and stuff. Slow down. Slow down. Go as far as you understand. Take the Miller approach and stop if if something you really genuinely don't understand, and start asking questions. Slow down. I have yet to come away from Daniel. I was sitting in a group discussing Daniel the other day, and it's like, I never saw that before. I never saw that before. I never saw that before. I'm deeply appreciative of the church's emphasis and the fact that you have chosen to go through. I can't wait for your Daniel 11.
Oh, well.
That'll be November, folks.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Daniel 11, that will be a 32-page editorial, the whole magazine. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. It's. I think a lot of Adventists have gone through a lot of Daniel seminars, and they're all great. But when you listen to one particular speaker or favorite speaker and over again, you do pick up the same insights, right? But if you go to the text yourself, you'll find things in each reading. You pick up things that it builds upon the previous understanding and gets deeper and deeper. And it requires a one-on-one encounter with the God of the Scriptures. And that's just fundamental and foundational.
So what do you do to keep your study life alive? I mean, I've seen different recommendations. It's like, okay, don't do the same thing all the time. I took this from HMS Richards. You read the Bible this way, take a book of the Bible and read it backwards. What? Not every word, but read the last chapter and the previous chapter and work your way back, because suddenly you'll see how, especially in Daniel, an earlier chapter now anticipates something later on. There are chiasms upon if you don't know what a chiasm is, X-shaped structure, Google it. Biblical chiasms.
Subway sandwiches is what I say. Yeah.
Subway sandwiches. Yeah. But you'll find out, in Daniel 2, he was setting the stage for Daniel 6. And just do this. Slow down, read it carefully, take notes, ask good questions. All right, another feature here, from Iran to God's ultimate freedom. This was, especially since Iran's been in the news again, my whole life Iran's been in the news. I knew a family that escaped sort of at the fall of the Shah and so on. I'm that old. Yeah, I'm that old.
In 1979.
Yeah. No. I had friends who had escaped Iran in What were you doing in 1979?
I wasn't around in 1979.
You were, it was but a dream in his parents' hearts.
I read a book on I read a book on Iran. I was told, hey, read random books. It makes you more interesting, and just, and I don't remember anything from that book except for that the Americans left the capital in 1979. So
and how did they get out?
By helicopters?
Yeah, and who helped them get out?
The CIA?
No, the Canadians.
Was it Canadians?
Yeah, it was Canadians.
Oh, really?
They faked being a film crew, and they got into Iran.
Wasn't there was a movie, there's a documentary on that.
Yeah, we don't recommend Hollywood films here, but it might be called Argo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, yeah. Oh, really? The Canadians.
But this story, let's focus on this. We only have minutes to go. But Iran's been a hot spot my whole life, and this story in particular, what was it about it that got your attention?
Yeah, so I just love that the first couple of pages of each issue talks about different stuff that's happening all around the world. And in this particular testimony, I love how there's different elements of the church that all work together. It's not one individual or one ministry, but there was a lady who was a refugee from Iran, and she leaves Iran. She's one of the refugees, comes to the country of Poland, meets a pastor who has a Bible. That's stage one. That gets her spiritual life all started up in a time of crisis. Then later she gets transferred to another refugee center, and then there she meets a Seventh-day Adventist who's working in the refugee center. Then she gets connected with another pastor, and then that pastor finds another German pastor and they're using their phone to translate between the languages. I mean, it's just a crazy testimony. You have to read it yourself. But the cool thing is that there's random elements from different parts of the church, and they all work together in a composite picture to win an Irani refugee to Christ. And I just think that's a beautiful picture.
I would put the word random in air quotes, because
sure.
when you step back, most of you know this too from your own story, your life seemed random until you found Jesus, and now you can go and look at the 10 years leading up to it. It's like, he was after me the whole time.
Yeah. You're saying in 2020 you see the pattern that God...
Absolutely. Yeah, for me, it's like, how did I miss it? God was trying to get my attention 20 years before I actually came to Christ. I can see it now in hindsight. There were a couple of thoughts in here that I thought were powerful. This idea that what got her attention was the pastor spoke of a different God than she had heard about her whole life, a God of love. And I think that's one of the assets that our perspective on Scripture really brings. God is love. I mean, closing words, the great controversy, right? God is love. And then one line in this, you got to look this up online. Raha, her name, did not ask about doctrines. She asked about God. Now, I know some people are going to go, see, doctrine doesn't matter. No, doctrine does. This is doctrine done right. I mean, even Mark, I know, I'm playing loose a little bit, but it says the crowd was astonished at Jesus' doctrine. That's just teaching. Done right, doctrine is a picture of God. She asked about God. Good doctrine, that is Adventist doctrine understood rightly, is the right picture of God. And doctrine, if we think of it as bullet points, you need to agree to the following 13 steps or 28 steps, then you can join the church. No. If this is the God who loves you and who died for you, and we understand Him from these 28 different angles, and that's why this movement is important.
Yeah, no, I think some people have a misunderstanding of doctrine as a couple of Bible texts strung together, and it's on an ancient scroll, and you have to subscribe to it. But any teaching, any description, any talk about God is a doctrinal discussion. But I love that the testimony is a balanced presentation of Christ, dealing with her misunderstandings and her existential crisis, and coming to more and more truth, and her loving it.
Loving it. This line got my attention. You do not have to earn God's favor, she was told. He is the one who comes first to find you and invite Him to Himself. How many of you are struggling with that thought? You're trying to win God's favor? You already have it. That's why He paid the price that you have. He loves you. He loves you. You've got to agree to it. He's not going to force you into the kingdom of heaven. But if you're trying to earn God's favor, stop. The cross proves you have His love. You have it. Don't try to be good enough to be saved. The point is you aren't. You're not good enough to be saved. Otherwise, Jesus wouldn't have had to come. This story illustrates, I think, what everybody goes through, but it's dramatic. We didn't have to start as a refugee. Some of us, some of you did. But it makes all the right points. For me, this is how God works in our lives, and it's also an illustration of the right way to do mission, love people, show God's love.
I love this testimony because it's with Irani. I mean, this is happening in Iran. This is the 1040 window. This is the Middle East. This is a part of the world that we don't have any insight and information into. And she leaves, and then she comes to Poland, of all places. Poland is in Europe. Europe also has its mission difficulties. It's a place where Christianity is on its decline, but mission is still happening in Europe also. So it's just a beautiful picture of how the world church works together.
Now, recently, speaking of mission, everybody's heard the story of what happened in Papua New Guinea. 250,000 people baptized. So I took Kyle Warren, who works at the Review. We hopped on a plane and we went to go see, are these people still coming to church? How did this actually happen? How do 250,000 people? And this is a feature you're going to see here on this show exclusively. And here's what I want to show you, because you haven't seen this quite yet. A guy picked me up at the airport. His name was Philip. And Philip decided he had to come get us from the airport and tell us his story. And as he drove us to our first appointment in Papua New Guinea, he told me a story that made my hair, it almost set my hair on fire. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And a lot of that was happening in PNG. And so I think what I'm going to do now is let Philip introduce himself and let you see what happened in his life.
I was born to a family of 7. I'm the last one in the family. And ended up going to school, joined the PNG Defense Force, the Papua New Guinea Army. I was never a good man. I was, evil to the core, wicked, ignorant, stubborn, and not a good husband. Was a very violent person to my wife. My wife went through a lot of violence for the last 20 years. And I thought the army would discipline me, but I went the other way. Well, stole military guns, got my boys from my suburb, executed a robbery at an international airport in Lae, and stole $500,000. In the commotion of the robbery, a security guard was shot and killed by his own supervisor. I was arrested and incarcerated, charged for 4 counts of armed robbery, 1 count willful murder, 1 count attempt murder, and sentenced to prison. When I was sentenced to prison, I only last 2 years, and I ran away from prison. I was the most notorious criminal in Papua New Guinea in 2001 and 2002. And to make things worse, my big brother was the police commander. So he hunted me down, and it nearly ended up worse, him being killed or myself getting killed. But by the grace of God, I surrendered, and I went up into prison. And in prison, when I looked to the front, I saw the brick wall. When I looked to the back, brick wall, to the right, brick wall, to the back, brick wall, to the feet, brick wall. The only way was to look up. And when I looked up, that is where Jesus picked me up.
So there Philip goes to prison for doing all this incredibly horrific stuff and comes to Christ in prison. And he gets out serving 15 years only of a 30-year stint because, he committed the kinds of sins where people died. And he gets out early, but I think he could probably tell that story to us better than I could.
And whilst in prison, I watched and observed a lot of religious groups or denominations that walk through. And I was watching and learning as I was going through. But there was something significant and, distinct with the Adventists. They were clean, they were humble, they preached, and they preached from the Bible. So I was challenged. And one night I prayed and I said, Lord, you tell me, if Sabbath is your true day of worship, then you prove to me. So in an instant, God spoke to me. Philip, Luke chapter 4, verse 16. So I opened the Bible. Never opened the Bible in my life. Never knew where Genesis or Revelation was. When I opened to Luke chapter 4, verse 16, it says, and as his custom was, Jesus came to Nazareth on the Sabbath day. And he opened and to read from the scrolls. And it just, wow, the fish scales fell down.
Okay, so Philip actually comes to Christ in prison, and the nominating committee of the local church appoints him to be a representative in the prison. He was given some books to read, which is how he started a ministry to other prisoners.
I started reading those books, and great transformation took place. In a prison, it's a place of isolation. You have all the time. So I could line 5 Bibles, different versions, the spirit of prophecy, and I read and read and read. And within the 15 years, God filled me with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And the Lord used me to be very influential to a lot of hardened criminals. And the prison was beamed with the light of God, and Jesus was moving and using me. And just like Joseph, the favor of God was upon me. And you know what? The prison officers recommended me to be released on parole. 20 years ahead, my time to finish is 2034. 20 years ahead, I walked out of that maximum prison gate. Freedom at last. When the Son of Man sets you free, you're free indeed. When I come out into the car park, I'm picked up by Operation Life, and that's where they appoint me to be their country manager and to where I am today.
Right out of prison.
Right out of prison. Who am I? Who am I that I could have expatriates coming from a Western world to come and meet me at the gate? I saw myself as a prodigal son coming home, and the father with an open arm, welcome home, son. I thought that I was on a 7, but he said, no, you're my precious child. When you make the decision to come home, you see the transformational power of how God can transform. I resonate with the prodigal son. He comes from a pigsty. He smelled like a pig. He talked like a pig. He dressed like a pig. But when he came to the father never pushed him home. The father stood up, ran, hugged him, kissed him, embraced him, and put a scepter in his hand, covered him with his robe of righteousness. That was me. Coming back home after I have given you all your talents, the potential abilities. You just wasted it in the world. Like you and I have a common story. We partied, we drank, we did all this. And when you're coming back, you're second, and he says, sorry, you're given a chance on a golden plate. You stuffed up. Sorry, son, can't do much. No, that's not. Amazing love. Amazing love, amazing grace. He just picks me up. So, I just tell people, you just run into him. He's going to bring you into his bosom, just hold you so close, and you can hear his heartbeat. I love you.
Okay, from that point on, Philip actually holds one of the evangelistic meetings in Papua New Guinea, PNG, for Christ. And if I remember right, Philip, this guy, after all of that, God uses him to baptize 50 people. Today, Philip is no longer a soldier. Philip is no longer a rebel. He is no longer a criminal. He runs a home for disadvantaged and abused kids. That's how God is using him.
So I'm a recognized lay evangelist with the Central Papua Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So I was one of those thousands of evangelists. So they wanted me to, because my area is a Newark area, so they wanted me to go and speak my mother tongue in my own place, and they recognized the work that Operation Life does in my village, because we have a school there of 300 students. So they said, Philip, you need to concentrate in that mission field. So prior to that, 1 year before that, we had to go and feed people, clothe people, move with them. We used the 4S principle of Jesus Christ. socialize with people, get to understand their strengths, their weaknesses, opportunities and threats, and then sympathize with them, serve them. And then when they were ready, that's when PNG Christ came to tell them about Jesus, giving them that revelation of hope. And it was a new thing for them. The message, the three angels' message, the undiluted, the unadulterated message, preached with the love and grace of God. People could see light at the end of the tunnel. It inspired them. The Spirit of God, the later rain, was just moving in a mighty and a powerful way. And many young people, many young men, and elderly ones came and gave their lives to Jesus. There were about 50 people which we did Bible studies, startups with them. And the harvest is when we made an appeal. Those people who we worked upon them a year before the PNG for Christ, they were ready now, and the harvest was ready. So we had a baptism on the beach, on my beach, and my beach doesn't have a reef. So you have big waves, 3 to 4 meters. But you know what happened on that day? The Lord just calmed the salt water, and everybody went into the water of baptism. A beautiful story was an 89-year-old man, very old, who is a Catholic himself. And as I was preaching, he had me preaching in his the mother tongue, speaking in English, but he had me preaching. And he told me later, he said, "Philip, I want to die with Jesus. That's the reason why I didn't die. I want to go into the water and die with him. And when I get up, I know one day I will see Jesus coming." Well, this old man has passed. If it was only one sinner who repent, Christ would still come in.
Think about this. This guy's so excited. He's so excited that we're actually coming from the Adventist Review. He comes to pick me up at the airport. You will not believe, I am today in ministry of taking care of abused kids. I led 50 people to Christ. And what I discovered in PNG, Justin, that story repeated 1,000 times over. Not everybody went to jail. Sometimes we think, you know, I'm an evangelist. I like to think sometimes, okay, they flew me into a country, I spoke for 15 nights, and that's why it worked. Now, these guys, God took one church member at a time across an entire nation, and that leads to 250,000, that's not including children, 250,000 new church members.
250,000.
Right. Remember Ellen White's statement that one day, Pentecost, we see that kind of number again?
Yeah.
Peter didn't have 250,000. And so, again, we like to think, oh, it's an event. This took place over years, and God started lying. We talked a moment ago. In hindsight, you can see God putting the pieces together. He takes Philip, he takes others. And I think over the weeks to come, we're going to share some of the people that had a vision and a dream to see people come to Christ, get this work done, and
I appreciate you guys actually going out there. On the front end of it, the church goes into a lot of PR, does a lot of wow, and then all this happened, and then once it happens, it's just kind of there's baptismal robes strewn on the floor, and it's all the lights are off. But you guys are going back there and seeing and kind of doing the follow up. Evidential work,
That's right.
and seeing what the testimonies are.
That's right.
So the numbers are not inflated.
Not at all. If anything, they're low. If anything, they're low, because I keep pressing that. I'm the one rare evangelist, there are others, but I'm the one rare evangelist like, no, give me a real number. Don't hype it up. Real number is honest. I'm not after how many, really. I want to be faithful more than I want numbers.
Sure.
But in this case, 250,000, come on, somebody inflated it. It's low, if anything, doesn't count the children.
It's just in the West. It's just kind of a crazy number, 250,000. I don't even know how many members we have here in North America. It just seems like is that real?
Yeah.
And then now we have the video testimonial evidence.
They can't hold them all. They don't have the infrastructure to hold them all.
Crazy.
And the SPD, hats off to them. They're starting
South Pacific Division. South
Pacific Division. They're trying to replicate this everywhere. So I understand.
So they're going to continue this in what, Solomon Islands?
The next focus, Fiji, Solomon Islands. So one of us sitting here might be going down for the Solomon Islands evangelistic emphasis, and then after that, New Zealand. They're taking a model that clearly works. It's based on lay evangelism. It's based on the things we're going to show you in the weeks ahead, and they're going to say, hey, God bless this. Let's keep going until Jesus comes or He shows us a better way to do it.
Amen. Amen. I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be great. So thanks for joining us. That's this week's riveting episode of Unscripted. I'm Shawn Boonstra.
I'm Justin Kim.
Until next time, thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.